Ooh. Very quiet, Mayor. It's recording.
It is recording. Good evening and welcome to the Bedminster Township Committee. This is our regular scheduled meeting for May 4, 2026. Recognize that we have a full attendance by the Bedminster Township Committee here in person. Ms. Ray, may we please have the Open Public Meetings Act statement?
Yes, Mayor. Adequate notice of this meeting of the Township Committee was sent to the Courier, News Somerville, Bernardsville News Whippany, and to all subscribers, and posted on the Township of Bedminster's official website at www.bedminsternj.gov and at the Township Municipal Building on January 6, 2026.
Thank you. Please join me in rising for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This is the time of the meeting that we open up the microphone up front, telephone, Zoom for public comment. Public is invited to ask questions, make a statement, ask comment. As we've been saying, you're not guaranteed a dialogue with the Township Committee unless someone engages. You're not guaranteed of an answer, and you're certainly not guaranteed of getting an answer you're going to like. Hand up, come on up to the microphone, state your name and street. You don't have to give your house number.
Great. Hi, my name's Steve Rosavi, and I'm at Wadham Ridge Road up in the hills.
Great.
So I think I say this just about every time I come here. I think you guys do an absolutely fantastic job. I tell everybody that best run town going. Department of Public Works does a fantastic job. So just to say up front, very happy with the work you guys do. What I'm here today is to ask your help for something. It's something that we talked about a year ago, something like that. So what I saw in the paper a couple of weeks ago is, we have to raise our taxes because of, increases in healthcare and things like that. Believe me, I know, but my wife's Obamacare doubled this past year, so I get it. And then the other thing that procked me was there's a guy named Jack Curtis up in Mendon Township who's been fighting against the farmland assessment, and they finally in January let him on the committee that kind of governs things. But he was out of his mind, basically saying it was nothing but a sham. It's all a bunch of garbage, and he's not happy at all. So the reason I'm here today is a couple things, but just this main one. I think the solution to any of our budget problems or any increases we need to do is to basically modify that Farmland Assessment Act and get our senator and our assemblyman to join in, because so here's what when Jack Curtis said, was going off, when I got off the phone with him, and just take a step back, I'm not a big proponent of AI, but I was just last week in a 3-day seminar on it. But so I just decided to go online and basically ask Gemini, what town in New Jersey has the most Farmland Assessment Act applicants? And no lie, we came up as number one. But here's the good news, why I say AI is not reliable. I showed this to Jack Curtis. He said, Steve, they got it wrong. He said, I can tell you right now, because he goes around and actually goes in and talks to the people and gets the counts. Tewksbury has over 500. Okay, so we're not number one, but we're trying. We try harder, right? But my point is this, not a good look for us to be, because we're Bedminster Township, we're not farmers. And here's the thing I think that a lot of people don't get is that everybody thinks it's a tax break for the rich. Granted, there are a couple of small farmers left in New Jersey that I would probably qualify if we had something like Stay New Jersey involved where they didn't hit a ceiling. But it's not a tax break for the rich. It is a tax transfer onto everybody who's not the rich. So all of us are paying for them so they get a tax break. So it's kind of like the way I look at it, it's like this. Let's say we're all sitting at Thanksgiving dinner, and all of a sudden a multimillionaire walks up to us as we're having our dinner and says, guess what? I'm taking that turkey, all the chocolate turkeys that your kids got, you're coming with me. And it's kind of like in your face. So that's what we're up against. So it's an absurd situation. And so just to and to kind of drive home the point, when I do some speaking for ARP for senior citizens, and last summer I was at a fraud scam seminar, and one of the main speakers said in 2024 there was about $200 billion worth of theft from U.S. citizens from scams and fraud, stuff like that. And then he made a really telling comment. He said, imagine all the good that could come from if we were able to take 200 billion, and of course, I can't imagine what $200 billion is, if we took $200 billion and put it back into the economy. Okay, so my thought bringing it down to us is we know there are certain people that are just, and also it's become a little bit of a game. They all look at like, why wouldn't I do that? Even if I'm not a farmer, I don't care. Imagine if all these people, like for instance, like in Mendham, there's 158 farmland assessed properties. That's in Mendham, and they avoid $1.1 million in taxes, and they give it to their less fortunate neighbors. They have 158. We have more than twice as many. More than twice as many. So not for nothing, theirs is $1.1 million in total. Ours has got to be more than $2 million if we have more than twice as many. So think about all those extra dollars. If everybody got them back, that money back, which would be over $1,000 a person here, they could put that back into our economy. And or if we didn't give it all back, they gave it to you guys to do great things with, like enhance our parks, do X, Y, or Z, all kinds of great things that could happen from it. And here's the other thing too. It's not like these are poor people that we're taking money away from, right? These are the richest of the rich. And it's not like that. Remember the Beatles song, Tax Man? This is not where these poor people are getting taxed 95% on all their income. They're just not. So, it's a situation where they probably wouldn't notice it, but they have to start paying. They could tell their accountants would say, oh yeah, they did away with it. Okay, fine. So anyway, my ask for today is that we have a state senator that supports us. We have two assemblymen. I think one of the assemblymen is one of the senior people in that group. If we just ask them for the support to say, guess what? We have a situation which is probably growing in other towns too, where nobody's taking this act or this law seriously anymore at all. Everybody's just jumping on the bandwagon saying, I'm never going to get caught. Nobody wants to do anything about it. So why would I not give my tax liability to my neighbor if I can? So if we could just let them know that, guess what? It's getting a little out of hand, but you might want to get serious about pulling back. And just so you know, in January, they did enact a change in which they touted. Instead of having to come up with $1,000 worth of farm products that you sold for the year, it's 1,900. So it's a ridiculous sum of money. And if you go into the books, you'll see these people saying, well, we sold $1,001 worth of product. We sold $1,003 worth. So it's just the biggest joke in the world. So anyway, that's my ask. I appreciate your time. Does anybody have any questions or concerns? Great. Tell you what, thank you very much. And again, I appreciate all the work you guys do. And I hope you can basically contact these people and just say, guess what? It's getting a little out of hand. Before this gets really ugly and people realize that we're asking them to pay their tax bills, might want to make a change. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Osali.
Thank you.
I am familiar with Jack Curtis. I think there were a couple of articles he might have actually have written about them. I think he may have sent one on about 6-7 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm familiar with Jack Curtis and his outreach to the state. And we'll see if that gets any legs. Any further questions, comments? Robin, do we have anyone participating via Zoom?
No, Mayor.
Okay, we'll proceed with the rest of the meeting. We have one set of meeting minutes. That's the April 2026 Township Committee. Any comments or questions regarding the minutes? Not, take a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Thank you.
We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 permits and raffles on for tonight. We'll take the first one by itself, a fireworks permit for a fireworks display scheduled for May 24, 2026 at approximately 9:45 at Trump National Golf Club. And I believe we have Rob Totten from Trump National, and we do have our new fire official, Mario Abruzzese.
Yes.
Okay, so Rob, can you just come on up and briefly give a summary of the fireworks display, confirming 9:45, duration, all that good stuff.
Good afternoon, Mayor, committee persons. Rob Totten, I'm the Director of Security at Trump National Golf Club in Bedminster. I have applied for a permit for fireworks display on May 24th, which is part of our Memorial Day celebration. I believe all the paperwork is in order. And it says 9:45 for the firing, but it may go off a little bit earlier, which probably would be more beneficial to the neighborhood. And I have police coverage for that day, and I have fire coverage for that day. And I have our law firm sending out letters to our neighbors within 200 feet of our property, notifying that we are having fireworks. Display duration is probably going to be between 9 and 12 minutes.
Okay, any questions for Mr. Totten?
No.
And Mario, if you could just come up and just go over your review of the application.
Yes, our office reviewed it. I reviewed it with the former fire official, Stephen Doe, and it's met all the requirements from the state and our office. So we approved the application.
Okay, great. And Chief Bernardo, take it, all your review and your concerns have been addressed?
Yeah, Mayor, it's the same posture that we always do over there. So they're good to go.
Chief, you're off mute, but we cannot hear you.
He can hear us, but we're having some issues.
Yeah, no issues, Mayor.
I'll do another test. It switched speakers again on us. Thank you.
Did he say something?
No, he did. He said he was good.
Okay. All right. Any questions for our fire official or for the chief from the Township Committee?
No.
Nope.
If seeing none, take a motion to approve the fireworks for Trump.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rob.
Thank you, Rob.
We have a annual seasonal farmers market permit for Jersey Spirits Distilling. That's at the Bedminster Farmers Market, May 23 through December 5. An on-premise 50/50 raffle to benefit Somerset Healthcare Foundation on June 1 from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. at Hamilton Farm Golf Club. An on-premise 50/50 raffle to benefit Freedom House on July 13 from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. at Fiddler's Elbow. And an on-premise merchandise raffle to benefit Freedom House on July 13, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. at Fiddler's Elbow. Any questions or comments regarding that one permit and 3 raffles? Seeing none, take a motion to approve.
So moved. Second. All in favor? Aye. Thank you.
Thank you. Monthly report discussion by subcommittee chair, Committeeman Rosen.
Thank you, Mayor. On the recreation side, summer camp programs are filling up. Registration's ongoing for the final spring programs. And the dog park on Burnt Mills is near completion. And speaking of completion, we had an amazing opening ceremony for the community garden last Friday. It was well attended, and the end result is just amazing. The garden looks tremendous. It was a true collaborative effort between all the parties involved. Neil and Rec, Jason and DPW, great job. It really looks tremendous. And let the planting begin. And I believe 158 plots are accounted for.
168. It's 168.
168.
And I believe as more of the gardens get assembled, they'll be quickly
Yes.
taken up. And I just driving to work this morning, saw someone there. Coming to the meeting tonight, saw someone there. It's still a little early for planting.
They planted a lot over the weekend.
Did they? Yeah, I did see during the weekend, I saw some folks out there. That was great. We had, Robin, by my estimation, we had over 50 people
Sure.
at the ribbon cutting. It was a tremendous turnout. Once again, thank you to Somerset County Commissioners for their support in putting that grant or giving us the grant. Didn't cover everything. Turned out to be a little bit more expensive than we anticipated, but it's fantastic. And this really, I think Bill mentioned the collaborative effort from doing the outreach with the polls to the community. What were they interested in? Once again, looking back at where we were in COVID when we started this whole concept and moving it forward to where we are today. It just looks great. Talking to the engineers, they are now working on community gardens at a couple other towns, and they're using what was put together here as their model moving forward. So that's great to hear. Robin, great job at the ribbon cutting, and Jason, whose ever thumbs and fingers are sore from putting those Vigo gardens together.
Guys did a great job.
It's probably mostly John, but great job. And it does look great. It really does. And so thank you, everyone. Any more?
I'm done.
You're done.
Thank you, Mayor. I just had a DPW update. They've been working on the police cars and the DPW equipment, lining the soccer and lacrosse fields, grading dirt roads and adding stone to the dirt roads, all while building and loading gardening boxes.
Yeah.
Cutting grass and grooming the ball fields, getting ready for spring. They were working in the DPW yard in preparation for the county inspection. So hopefully that goes well. And that's all I have.
Great. Renee.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everyone. I don't have much of a report, but I just wanted to give an example of how our community garden is going to be a real center of social interaction. We have a woman named Lauren Zugali who's at the Bedminster School. She's on the Jacobus Vanderveer committee with us, and the school has their interest in the environment with their own EC and green team and stuff. Our Bedminster's EC has reached out to the school on several occasions and not gotten much response to participate with programming and stuff. So I kind of cornered her at the Friday photo opportunity there, and she got so excited. She didn't know any of this. She was new to this. So I'm going to hook her up with EC. She's already responded back to me with who at the school we'll get in touch with. So just one dot connects to the next, to the next, to the next, and now we'll get some kids involved, and maybe they'll get their own little plots at the garden and get them involved with some of the environmental programs. I know we have a Raptor Trust program coming up and another amphibian night, but we're working all together and making things happen, and it's just a great example, I think, of how this has all worked. And I have an EC meeting on Wednesday, but that's all the report I have today.
Thank you. Committeeman Hickey.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, all. Board of Health did not have a meeting last month. Board of Ed, speaking of the school, I did attend the Board of Ed meeting on Thursday, the 30th. They adopted budget, which includes a school tax levy increase of $1.24 million, which translates to a 6.77% increase or about $249 per year on average. And recall, the school constitutes about 51% of the overall tax bill here in Bedminster. Health insurance costs, which are up 25%, increased transportation costs, and the rebill adjustment from Burns High were all cited as cost drivers. Notably, the change in the start time for the high school is going to force Bedminster School to separately contract for the 5 bus routes currently serving our students. As for the rebilling, it is a 2-year look back that allows the high school to retroactively adjust actual costs versus budgeted tuition per student. For the 23-24 school year, that resulted in an additional chargeback to Bedminster School of $710,000. And for the 24-25 school year, it resulted in an $830,000 increase. So that's what's driving the increases over on the Bedminster School side. Also, Mayor, do you want me to touch on the roundtable from the other day?
Yes, please.
I did attend in your absence the Somerset Hills School District Mayor's Roundtable. Dr. Bradshaw gave the mayors and myself a State of the Union synopsis. There was a lot of discussion around how we can all better collaborate to get the message out and engage our respective communities. And the group agreed that going forward, these meetings should be scheduled on a quarterly basis. It was a good, productive conversation. A lot of stuff that neither side knew about. So it was, good to share ideas and collaborate. And you now have more meetings on your calendar, Mayor.
Did they talk about the merger study?
So the merger study was mentioned that it is ongoing, but it is too early on to make any assessment in terms of where it's going, what it's going to recommend. You're probably going to see results from that in probably November. And Dr. Bradshaw emphasized, look, we're going to get the results. Doesn't mean we have to abide by the results. We'll all assess it and then figure out what we want to go do next. It could ultimately wind up in a referendum, but we're way too early to even determine that. So he said, let the process roll out and we'll see what happens.
Thank you. Since our last meeting, I've had no subcommittee meetings. However, I did want to talk about a couple events. One is April 21st. I attended the opening for the new building at Crossroads for Hope. This is the former Cancer Support Community Center on Burnt Mills Road. The building is beautiful, and you can tell that they worked with some nationally known architects on putting that building together. It's a small building, but it's going to be used for classes, sessions, seminars. There's a kitchen in there, so it's another opportunity for Crossroads for Hope to work with those who are afflicted with cancer and their families, and taking them through the process, letting them know they're not alone, and certainly giving the opportunity for enhanced focus on nutrition and really just communal support. It's great to see. I did have the leave as soon as the seminar, as soon as the ribbon cutting ceremony was over, they were doing tours, and I did ask if the township committee and township staff could get a separate tour, and they said yes. So Robin, perhaps if we could just get a poll of TC members and anyone from staff who'd like to participate, and just reach out to them and see if we can't get some folks over there. And then a couple days later, we had the 8th grade Civics Day. And once again, Robin did an excellent job managing 60 8th graders, showing them around the municipal complex, DPW, fire, police, and then here in administration. The judge was actually wrapping up session, and she became an impromptu participant in Civics Day
Awesome.
experience. And so that was great to see. And I got to follow her. So that only left me a little bit, but Robin, we took them through it. So it was all good to see these 8th graders who we probably saw about 4 years ago for the 4th grade Civics Day. That was great. And then just once again, the community garden, 50 people. And it's great to see folks from the county. And once again, Commissioner Melanie Morano, who was with us from the very beginning of this process. Great to see Commissioner Morano there, and was welcome the words that she gave. And once again, Robin and Jason, thank you guys so much for putting this together. And Neil.
It's fun. Worked out great.
Okay. Ms. Ray, may we please have the administrators report?
Sure, just a reminder to everyone that we opened our ballot boxes for the mail-in ballots. They've opened on April 20th. On the 21st of April, I attended the Crossroads Park pre-construction meeting with Derek and Jason here. They were supposed to start today, but as of this afternoon, they had not. There is some equipment that has been moved over there. Just hosted the Bedminster School 8th grade Civics Day on the 23rd of April, which was tons of fun. I just have to say thank you to the chief and of the fire department, as well as Chief Bernardo and Judge Howes and the mayor and Jason, Michelle, who is our general foreman. Everybody was great, and we all stayed on schedule, which was most important. So thank you very much. Community garden ribbon cutting was terrific. We had, as the mayor had said, not only did we have the commissioners that were involved from the beginning, but the Open Space Advisory Committee members from the county, which were great. Just a really good turnout. The garden is fantastic. Neil and Jason did an awesome job nailing down some of the details for the garden. It's immaculate. It's just, I hope it stays that way. But it looks fantastic.
You know, with the trees, I noticed that with the trees on 206,
Yeah.
which are now in bloom,
Yeah,
you really can't see the garden.
You really
Road in
can't.
there. And it happened in 4 or 5 days.
yeah.
You can see the garden, then all of a sudden it's treed out.
Yeah, it's great to see people there, and like, just like Renee said, I'm sure it'll become a great a source of community socialization. You saw it happening already on Saturday and Sunday for those that were there. So long time coming. I'm just so happy to see it come to life. And then this week, actually on the 6th, I have to do a presentation to the county CDBG grant committee for the handicap accessible entry doors for the rear and the front to Bedminster Town Hall. So keep your fingers crossed that we succeed and get that grant. It's the grant is in the amount of $51,000. And then Mayor, this Thursday, we have the Main Street meeting, which I'll let you talk about later. And that concludes my report.
Okay, thank you. Chief, any update on community policing?
No, Mayor, no updates for tonight. Can you guys hear me?
Did it flip again, Robin?
No, I think Frank, he was having problems with his connectivity.
No, I'm back. No updates.
Skip community
got
policing
Disconnected.
and,
No updates, sir.
okay, there you go. Thank you, Chief. We have no ordinances either for introduction or for public hearing. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 items on the consent agenda. These are items of a routine nature. Any member of the Township Committee may pull one, some, or all of them off for individual consideration. Seeing none, I'll take a motion to approve the items on the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second. Roll call vote, please. Committeeman Hickey.
Aye.
Committeewoman Moreski.
Aye.
Committeewoman Fernandez. Committeeman Rosen.
Aye.
And Mayor Jacobs.
Aye.
Thank you.
For resolutions for individual consideration, the first is Resolution 2026-087. This authorizes the execution of a settlement agreement and general release on behalf of Bedminster Hills Housing Corporation as our former administrative agent on the Affordable Housing Program. And this is in a matter, and John, I'm going to quickly do a very quick summary. When Sharon DeSico, who was the director of BHHC, she had sent out a letter to several residents indicating that they had no recapture fee, and that they were free to sell their units at market without any further participation by BHHC. Sharon was wrong in that. There was a litigation filed by some residents indicating that they had relied on Sharon's letter. And that litigation proceeded very, very slowly. Wasn't really going anywhere. The lawyer that was or that is representing BHHC as our agent, is recommending a settlement, which is essentially they still have to pay a recapture fee. They're just going to get a small discount on the recapture fee from our, that this is essentially nuisance value settlement. And since the money coming from the recapture fee goes back to Bedminster and our Affordable Housing Trust Fund, and BHHC was literally doing nothing more but acting as our agent in collecting those funds. Both the attorney for BHHC is handling the litigation, and Attorney Florida recommend that the township pass a resolution authorizing the settlement. John, any further color on that?
And with respect to the remaining residents that were not part of the litigation, there will be a declaratory judgment entered that they are responsible for the entire amount of the recapture fee in the future. So except for some administrative and procedural actions that need to be taken with respect to entry of those judgments by the attorney for BHHC, this concludes all the outstanding litigation involving BHHC, including the rather substantial settlement that the township received as a result of the malpractice litigation against the former attorney for BHHC for giving Ms. DeSico advice that no fee was due, which, as you indicated, was incorrect advice.
Incorrect. And then this, the resolution also authorizes us to take actions to dissolve PHHC. And that's the resolution. Any questions or comments regarding the resolution?
Finally.
Finally. Seeing none, take a motion to approve resolution 2026-087.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote, please. Committeeman Hickey,
Aye.
Committeewoman Moreski,
Aye.
Committeewoman Fernandez.
Aye.
Committeeman Rosen,
Aye.
and Mayor Jacobs.
Aye.
Thank you.
Next, resolution 2026-089. This resolution authorizes the award of a contract to Weatherproofing Technologies, Inc., to provide roof replacement services at the Jacobus Vanderveer House through the Middlesex County Educational Services Commission Cooperative Pricing System in the total amount not to exceed $125,000. Who gets this one, Robin?
Well, actually, all three of us. I just wanted to make sure that it was on the regular part of the meeting, just so everybody knew when they start seeing activity over there. We have a large tarp that's over the roof. The roof is old. It has degraded over time. It wasn't treated properly. And in the last windstorm, with the snow all on, everything kind of got mushy and disintegrated, and the wind just blew all the shingles off. So we have an emergency repair. I'm applying for an emergency grant. Derek has been working with the contractor to secure bids. Derek, if you want to explain that we don't have to go to bid because we're getting this through a
Co-op.
Yes, we were able. Yes, we were able to find a co-op that offered roofing services. We reached out to the co-op. Contractor was able to work with us. They are going to be, Weatherproofing Technologies will be awarded the contract, and they will subcontract it out to a roofer that is actually specialized in cedar shake roofs. He's on the list of certified cedar roofing specialists, which the historical preservation wanted to see. That means that they know these kinds of roofs, they know what they're doing, they know how to put them up correctly. And as a result, we didn't have any issues with historical preservation. So
what did we need from the State Historic Preservation Office?
So I got the final broken down proposal today. We submitted to the SHPO, State Historic Preservation Office, a preliminary proposal from the roofing company. They need a little bit more detail, which we received this afternoon. They said send it over and they can do an approval via email. I already sent them pictures and documented everything, so that's good. We also applied for made an insurance claim, which we will be receiving money towards the cost of the roof repair. at a significant amount, which is fantastic, which will cover a good chunk of the roof repair. Lastly, we did hire an architect just to give us proper specifications, so I think we're in good shape. And thank you to Jason for climbing on the ladder truck and tarping the roof.
Does the claim amount have anything to do with the grant? Is the grant deducted by what we get back in the
So
claim?
the estimated repairs are at approximately 125,000. The insurance claim is going to be close to 96,000. And it's because there's some internal damage as well to the roof inside, which is not necessarily covered, which is why I'm applying for the emergency grant from Somerset County.
So of that 125, some of that is not just for the cedar shake install, but for fixing the substructure of the roof.
Yes, particularly there's one room where there's clapboard, or I should say even shiplap that's on the ceiling that buckled from the moisture. And so we need to repair that.
The 125 is basically the cedar roof and the fascia roof, so. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Throwing it all out
Yeah.
there.
All right. So Robin, congratulations on getting the insurance coverage. That's excellent. Thank you
Great.
so much.
Great.
Any further questions of Derek, Jason, or Robin on the repairs and replacement of the roof?
Nice. I'm just glad to see it's going to be the cedar shakes again. They
I don't
probably
think
have
there was
to.
an option.
Yeah, I think they have to, but still,
It's very expensive.
Yes.
the house is going to be gorgeous.
It'll be
Yes.
great. Time for 4th of July.
In time, and right, so actually, why don't we cover that? So, assuming everything goes forward, we've got the award of the contract tonight. When do you anticipate work starting? When do you anticipate work being complete?
We thought June 1st was the start date, right, somewhere in.
Correct. We have a tentative pre-con meeting for, I believe it's May 14th, Thursday, May 14th, where we'll be meeting with the contractor, subcontractor, going over start date. He believes June 1st at the latest, possibly being able to start a little earlier. And he doesn't anticipate it being a very long project. It's not a very complicated roof to be able to do it. Approximately a week to do the. Yeah. It's dependent on weather. That's the factor that we don't know. But either way, if we're looking at it roughly a June 1st start date, that gives us plenty of time to get it done before the
4th of July.
the 4th of July celebration, the 250th.
Great. Thank you, Derek.
Welcome.
There's no further questions or comments. Take a motion to approve Resolution 2026-089.
So moved.
Second,
Roll call vote, please. Committeeman Hickey.
Aye.
Committeewoman Moreski.
aye.
Committeewoman Fernandez.
Aye.
Committeeman Rosen.
Aye.
And Mayor Jacobs.
Aye.
Thank you.
Next resolution is Resolution 2026-091. This resolution authorizes the purchase of 2 vehicles for the police department from Nielsen Ford of Morristown under the Morris County Cooperative Pricing Council in the total amount not to exceed $92,000. Robin.
I'm gonna let Derek take this one since this is part of our new capital funding program.
This resolution is basically because the award of the 2 vehicles would be over the bid threshold. We are purchasing through a co-op, but it does require governing body approval to do the contract. The line item that was identified in the budget is a capital outlay line item. It is a line item that we have started using this year that hasn't been used in the past. Essentially, it means that we are able to spend directly out of the capital outlay line item rather than having to adopt an ordinance with an intro and adoption. The capital lines were targeted. They're very specific line items. They were part of our budget introduction and will be part of our public hearing and budget adoption this evening.
Questions? Comments?
When do you anticipate we get these if we order them right now?
That's it's a good question. I don't know because it's up to the dealership on when they become available, but by being able to do it this way, we are getting our order in rather early compared to some other municipalities, which will hopefully put us at the top of the line, meaning that we have the likelihood of getting our vehicles before other entities because everybody buys through the same co-op and usually it's first come, first served.
Makes sense.
Okay, there's no further questions or comments for Derek or Robin or the chief. Take a motion to approve resolution 2026-091.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, I have Committeeman Rosen for a second and Committeewoman Fernandez for a first. Is that correct?
Yes.
Thank you. A roll call vote, please. Committeeman Hickey.
Aye.
Committeewoman Moreski.
Aye.
Committeewoman Fernandez.
Aye.
Committeeman Rosen.
Aye.
And Mayor Jacobs.
Aye.
Thank you.
So speaking of the Bedminster municipal budget, our next resolution is resolution number 2026-092, which authorizes the adoption of our 2026 municipal budget. And we have Derek Machia, our CFO, and Zinsky from Nisivocia, our auditor, on hand for any questions. But Derek, do you want to just walk us through the resolution and the numbers?
Yes, well, I'm actually going to defer to Robin. Robin has prepared a PowerPoint presentation summarizing our 2026 municipal budget, some of the key points, some of the highlighted items, hardships that we faced in going through this process and where we ended up at the end of the day. So.
Okay, sure. Here we go. So if you don't mind, I'll just stay right here since I'm moving the PowerPoint presentation. I apologize, we couldn't get it to go full screen with us being on Zoom as well. But first of all, some of the major impacts, and we're not alone, all the municipalities are feeling the same squeeze with the employee healthcare premiums. These are our top four: liability insurance premiums, our debt service. This year we decided we were going to be hit with some significant debt service, and thanks to Derek, our CFO, he made a recommendation that we use fund balance to cover the cost of our debt service so that it was no longer in our operating budget. So that was a huge help for us this year. And then we also have an unfunded mandate, which are stormwater management, where we need to actually street sweep, say that fast, street sweep all of our roads at least 3 times per year. And that just comes right off the top of our budget. Just a couple comments. This is just a summary of the budget appropriations. If you take a look, public safety all the way at the bottom it should have been reversed, but public safety is one of our largest budget appropriations. That includes our police, fire, and EMS, as well as LoSAP, which is the Length of Service Award Program for our volunteer fire and first aid, debt service, the insurance costs, and then our capital improvements. So these are all lines in our budget that are grouped together and put in our user-friendly budget. It's just another way of looking at categories of expenditures that the municipality will be incurring for 2026. I hope this next chart works right now. It didn't take the changes, Derek. See that? The percentages, that's okay. So in comparison to our 2026 budget versus our 2025, I apologize, the numbers didn't necessarily save. We had some linking issues, but our fund balance is not 37%. It's actually, we're utilizing 49% in the budget. I don't believe I have the other numbers with me. I think the miscellaneous funding is actually down to 15 or 16%.
Correct.
The state aid is actually lower than last year at 12%, whereas last year it was 16. State aid stayed flat this year. The uniform construction fees actually went down to 5%. We went from 400 to 350. And then grants, we are at 9%, which is the accurate number that we know. And then the shared services are actually down a little bit to 8%. So that's where we're getting all of our funding sources for this year's municipal budget.
Yes, these were the funding sources other than the tax.
Other than tax levy, correct. And then the tax rate comparison, this is just compares last year's taxes to this year's. The municipal portion, which is just municipality, is 0.232 versus last year, which was 0.239. It's actually down to 0.93%. The library is 0.032. Open space tax is a constant at 0.015. The school levy, as Committeeman Hickey mentioned earlier, is 0.619. It's up 0.16% over last year. And then the county levy, this is an estimated number because we don't actually know the county tax rate. We're assuming that this is what it's going to be.
Correct.
Do you want to add anything to that, or you're good?
Well, these are the tax rates, again, on an average, I believe this is addressed in the next slide. These tax rates would be applied to each property individually within the township per $100 of assessed value. Because of the assessment, I believe it's the reassessments that go out every year. The average home saw an increase of, I want to say it was.
Yeah, that's in the next couple slides.
Yes.
You can jump there if you like. So that's right here.
Yes, so we saw an increase in the value of an average assessed home in Bedminster Township with the decrease in the tax rate, but the increase in the assessed values. The net increase for just the municipal levy alone will be approximately 3.24% or approximately just shy of $60 a year on an average assessed home in Bedminster Township. It's $58.89 per year, or roughly about $4.91 per month for just the municipal portion. The overall tax increase, we don't know at this time. We have to wait for the state to certify our final rate, as well as tell us what the county rate is going to be. But we know what our number is, and our number is it is less than the average the state has been seeing this year. Average increases have been ranging between 3.5% and 4% for municipalities because of such rising costs as the healthcare, things like that. So we came in with a very reasonable increase to do that addresses all of our municipal needs in the budget, as well as puts us in a position to have our debt service be significantly reduced going into the 2027 budget cycle.
Thank you,
So-
Derek.
Sure. So this is just the breakdown overall of the taxes that resident would pay to Bedminster Township. As Committeeman Hickey stated, the school district tax is the largest percentage of the tax levy at 52%. Next would be our local municipal tax. Then we'd have our open space tax, which is 1%. And then Somerset County, what we pay to Somerset County equates to 24%. And again, that's an estimated number. And then 3% of your tax dollars goes towards is for the library. And then this is just a summary of property tax assessments, which Derek already alluded to. It just breaks it out by the number of vacant parcels that we have here in Bedminster Township, over 4,000 residential properties, 574 farms, 130 commercial units, and 2 utilities. And then with their total values and the overall percentage of change is 6.5% over last year's assessment. And then it was just the impact on the individual homeowner. And this is the aggregate of your taxes. So an average assessed home value of 610,000 versus last year, which was 568. And then the tax rate per hundred, the annual tax bill this year is roughly $7,261 with an annual change over last year of $420 for a total of monthly charge of $3,503. So not an easy process.
And you may have mentioned, but what was the portion that's the municipal portion of
The
it?
municipal
He did.
portion of that was $58.89 per year, or $4.91 per month. That number is subject to change because, as I said, we're still waiting on the final certification to come in from the county. It also depends on when the state adopts their budget because of the state aid figures. We don't anticipate any increase. Hasn't been an increase in quite some time, but maybe we'll get pleasantly surprised. I don't know. Not from what I've heard coming out of Trenton at this point, no. No, absolutely not.
No.
But that is where we're anticipating the annual bill to be. Once the final numbers are out, they'll be mailed with our tax bills, hopefully in July. And hopefully it'll be very close to that number, if not right at that number.
And can you just, for the benefit of the audience, go back a few slides with the public safety being a large portion. I think a lot of that has to do with just the capital cycle for fire engines and EMS. So can you just discuss that for a second?
That section right there, the public safety, is just the percentage of the overall appropriations. That's just the operating appropriations. That doesn't
Okay.
include the
That doesn't
capital.
have CapEx. in
It is the cost associated with running the police department, the operating expenditures for the fire department, the first aid squad, the OEM. It also includes the LoSAP, as Robin had mentioned, as well as the municipal prosecutor, because that is considered a public safety function under the flexible chart of accounts.
So can you talk for a second about what was driving our CapEx and why we did what we did with respect to funding the debt the way we did?
So right now, we're looking at interest rates that are remaining steady, if not possibly increasing for this year. There's been a lot of talk with the Fed that at the beginning of the year, they were going to be dropping interest rates, but then I guess you could say life happened, and that is no longer the rosy picture that they're predicting anymore. As such, when we borrowed last year, we were borrowing between 3.75 and 4.75% on our debt service, but our earnings in the bank were averaging about 3.75%. Our earnings have dropped down, not significantly. We have been given a almost guaranteed rate of 3.5% for this year, but the borrowing rates have still crept up a little bit. There's a report I will be sharing with you at the next meeting. I'm just putting it together. It is a market watch report that we get from Phoenix Advisors that shows the average borrowing at both long-term and short-term debt, which is showing anywhere between 2.75 and 4.25% on long-term and short-term debt, depending on the amount of debt issued. So by using our fund balance, we lose the cash in our bank account because we're using our own money to pay off our debt. But what we're saving is that we're no longer going to be paying interest on any of that debt going into the 2027 budget cycle. Because the borrowing rate is higher than our earnings rate right now, the differential between our earnings rate and the borrowing rate is the savings to the township, in that we won't have those costs going out the door anymore, at least unless we don't. Again, I can't predict what 2027 is going to be, but if we don't authorize any new debt, our debt was significantly dropped this year. We have no more issued debt as of today. We only have authorized debt, and that is for items that have not come in yet. We don't anticipate them coming in until late this year or perhaps early 2027. And then we'll be able to address those items in next year's budget cycle.
Right, so the debt itself was the radios, that was a mandate that was from Somerset County, where we switched from the 5 to the 7 megahertz, so we had no choice.
No choice
We
on that.
had to do that, and that was 1.8 million.
Right.
That was a big chunk, and then we had 2 fire trucks in between there, so.
And we think about it, fire trucks only come up every 25 to 30
Right,
years,
so
but when they
everything
do,
hit at the
you
same
have to.
time. We got slammed, and so.
So a lot of big items that came at once, but we did a fund balance projection. We looked at our fund balance utilization. We looked at where our fund balance would be at the end of this year versus beginning next year. And we recognize an opportunity to be able to utilize that fund balance, which is why it is there, to help stabilize the tax rate and to minimize the impact to the taxpayers of Bedminster Township by being able to responsibly use that money to lower our costs going forward.
Thank you.
Andrew? So Andrew, our utilization of fund balance, and you deem that acceptable?
Yeah. So, as many of you know, Bill, we're not as familiar, but as the rest of you know, I normally attend several meetings every year during the budget planning process and everything like that. Just so you all know, I'm sure that Derek had told you this, and I know that Robin knows this. Behind the scenes, I was still there. I just wasn't in the meetings. I was more, instead of being there, Derek is very good. He's, I refer to him sometimes as a mad scientist when it comes down to things. talking about the stormwater money that you had to come up with this year for the street sweeping. He found some in a local finance notice from 30 years ago. Okay, 20 years ago, I exaggerate. Who was it that you spoke to at the division that was impressed with you?
It was actually not at the division, but it was, we also had I think it was an informal meeting with Mark Pfeiffer. And when he took a look at the local finance notice, he read it for a minute and he goes, wait a minute, I wrote this.
He was very impressed with him, though. He said, that's exactly what this was for. Great work. No, but I mean, your use of fund balance is responsible, right? We have a good, healthy fund balance. Using it in that way, as Derek had said, the net effect is positive for the township. I think that basically everything, there was a lot of back and forth with Derek saying, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? So on and so forth. And I think that everything that went into the budget is a very good and responsible use of the taxpayer money. One of the things that I will say is that I've had so many towns this year that are having such a hard time getting underneath the appropriation cap. That wasn't a problem for you here, thankfully. And I do have to say that having the modest tax increase and being able to keep up with all of your capital improvements for infrastructure throughout the town, maintaining the level of service that your citizens expect. Really great job. You know, you all always do a wonderful job of being good stewards to your community. And I have to say, it's really nice and really easy sometimes coming here and having to go through these things, and working with Derek has been a real pleasure on this. And by the way, just so you're all aware, I think next month I should be here with the audit report. So
Andrew, I've talked to some mayors across New Jersey, not necessarily immediately local, but what I would call similarly situated municipalities. And it's interesting the amount that these other towns are utilizing from fund balance. Andrew's been our auditor for years and has established essentially don't dip below this level. And talking to some of these other towns this year, they're dipping below that level.
they're taking a lot.
I don't know what how their auditors are going to deal with it. But, you know, we are in a good position, both Derek as a former auditor and Andrew as our auditor, both gave us the thumbs up on how we approached the utilization of fund balance to offset tax increases. So thank you both. How many meetings?
6.
6. So that was 6 meetings. I think the longest went close to 11. So that's a 4-hour meeting, surrounded by a bunch of 3.5-hour meetings. And in between, a lot of work by Robin and a lot of work by Derek and a lot of work by all our directors, Jason and the chief and the fire department, rec as well. And putting it all together, working it through, reworking it again. And when Robin thought she was done, we asked her to do it maybe, 2 more times.
We didn't get to Z, so
We didn't get to Z. We didn't get to capital budget C. But we've said this before. Thank you, everyone who worked with us. Derek, thank you for joining your first Bedminster budget and sitting through the process with us. I know this is not necessarily how a lot of other towns do it, but we've been doing it this way for a while, and I think it works, right?
Yep.
So any further questions of Robin, of Derek, or of Andrew?
Just one point of clarification. I know I get this question a lot. We are not in the state healthcare plan. Robin, maybe you want to spend a minute talking about Central New Jersey HIF.
Or about 10 years ago, Bedminster Township had the mindset to move forward with getting out of the state healthcare plan because the costs were going up way back then. So We moved to the Central Jersey Health Insurance Fund, which is similar to the joint insurance fund that we're in for our liability insurance. And while we have seen increases, exponentially, it has not been at the same rate as the state healthcare plan. And I believe, Derek, you just told me today that Warren is another town that just passed a resolution to get out of the state healthcare plan. So
Warren Township.
we're very fortunate.
Yeah, the last article, Warren Township mentioned that they are withdrawing from the state health benefits program. Aon report, the preliminary report came out. They're looking at again another double-digit increase closer to the 30% for members of the state health benefit, the school employees health benefit program going into the 2027 cycle.
And the big thing that's driving it is prescription drugs.
Yeah.
The medical isn't as bad, but the prescription went up, our prescription went up 42%. Just the prescription coverage alone. So that's huge. Huge.
And I think you're going to see as more municipalities look to get out of the state health plan, it's only going to get worse.
Mhm.
Because the towns with good records, with good track records with their insurance, they're going to go to whether it's the CGHIF or to other
Yeah.
health insurance funds. And that's going to leave the state health plan with ever increasing coverage. And it's just going to get more and more expensive. And there's already been talk at the legislature about maybe they made a mistake by opening up these joint insurance funds for health coverage. But I think it's too late to put the toothpaste back. Now, any further questions or comments? If none, I'll take a motion to approve Resolution 2026-092, approving the 2026.
You have to do the public hearing first.
Don't have that.
Open the public hearing.
I don't have that on our agenda. Did we do the public hearing at the last meeting?
We have to do it for the adoption, so it's just open the public hearing.
Okay.
If there's any questions, and then close the public hearing, then vote, just like we do with the ordinance.
Okay, so we'll take a motion to open up the resolution. This is the one resolution that does get a public hearing. Open.
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay. So this is the opportunity for the public to ask questions of Derek, our auditor, about the municipal budget. Seeing none, take a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
And I'll take a motion to approve Resolution 2026-092, adoption of the 2026 Bedminster municipal budget.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote, please. Committeeman Hickey.
Aye.
Committeewoman Moreski.
Aye.
Committeewoman Fernandez. Committeeman Rosen.
Aye.
And Mayor Jacobs.
Aye.
Right.
And now that we approved the budget, take a motion to approve the bill list. So we can start paying off the bills.
Second.
Okay, roll call vote again, please. Committeeman Hickey.
Aye.
Committeewoman Moreski.
Aye.
Committeewoman Fernandez. Committeeman Rosen.
Aye.
And Mayor Jacobs.
Aye.
Thank you.
So under new business, we do have an item for new business. Thank you, Derek. Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you, guys.
Gentlemen.
I believe it was on April 15th, Judge Menon entered a consent order regarding our fourth round affordable housing obligation and our, we'll call it open matter with fair share housing. John, you want to take us through it?
Yes, this essentially concludes the 2-year journey that began back in March of 2024 when Governor Murphy signed legislation essentially implementing a process for the fourth round of affordable housing from July of 2025 to July of 2035. It was a process that superseded the third round process that involved a declaratory judgment action in the absence of any legislation that oversaw the affordable housing program that involved the intersection of Fair Share Housing Center and Mount Laurel judges. Numbers were put out by the state back in October of 2024, the Department of Community Affairs. The numbers, all in all, were not too draconian for Bedminster Township's purposes. We did have credits from prior years. We did need some rental. So essentially, as the mayor indicated on April 15th of last month, Judge William Menon of the Superior Court of New Jersey signed the consent order final compliance certification for the 10-year period. So briefly, some high points of that order is that Bedminster's fourth round fair share plan was approved and met the objective standard of the March 2024 law. It also codified that Bedminster's prior plans were incorporated and approved, including its prior round obligation from 1987 to 1999. The third round obligation, which included the gap obligation in the absence of legislation during that period for 1999 to 2015, both prospective and present need. And finally, again, our fourth round obligation that will take us through to July of 2035, when if the legislation is still in existence, we'll start a fifth round obligation for a 10-year period thereafter. So most significantly, the approval of this order gives the township immunity from builders remedy lawsuits, meaning builders or other interested parties cannot come in here and file a declaratory judgment action indicating that Bedminster has not met its constitutional obligation under the Mount Laurel Doctrine and the cases thereunder. Significantly, it indicates again that the township's present need of rehabilitation obligation is 6, not a large number, something that we could readily meet. And then our fourth round prospective need obligation is 72. That will be made up, of course, from credits from prior rounds with Pluckman Park KRE project and also some elite carryovers. So essentially, it requires us on an annual basis, as it does all municipalities, by February 15th, 2026, to file reports monitoring with the state. Ms. Ray has that distinction and obligation, municipal housing liaison. I think you indicated the state is finally rolling out some courses to train all the MHLs so that can be implemented. We have an administrative agent, CGP&H, that the township has contracted with to oversee the monitoring, sale, resale, recapture fees, the discharges of mortgages. Essentially, that's it. In July of 2030, 5 years from now, well, maybe a little less, there'll be a midpoint review to see where the projects that have been included in the fourth round are, whether they've been built or still in existence. KRE, I believe, Mayor, is coming in soon. Is filing happening?
Area is up for a zoning board hearing this Thursday.
All right, so thanks to the planning of this township committee, the planning board, prior township committees, its professional and planners, Bedminster's done relatively well compared to some of the surrounding municipalities where you see rather large development numbers bringing on large housing units in the future. So good job to all.
Thank you, John, and thank you for your efforts. I know that you've been back and forth with the other attorneys on this matter for a very long time, and for corralling our other professionals, which sometimes is like herding cats, as the phrase goes. But certainly getting everyone together, going in the same direction, going through the math, looking at the math again, just as we did with the budget, looking at those numbers, and which was an iterative process, and then reducing it into a coherent plan that could be presented to Fair Share, agreed to by Fair Share, and then signed off by the judge. So there was a lot of, John and I were on, I would say, in telephone conversations multiple times a day about where we were and what we needed to do, and where we needed additional support from our municipal planner, getting some of the background information that you could put into the papers. So, John, thank you so much for taking us through this and getting to a very, very good end result. Thank you,
Glad to
John.
see the process is over and successfully concluded. Allow your planning board to review applications without the threat of builders remedy lawsuits.
Right. And once, I think we've talked about this at reorg and other opportunities. That doesn't mean that, we are locking the door on Bedminster, but it gives the township committee, it gives the planning board the flexibility to plan for development and to choose development that we want, where we want it, as opposed to being compelled on us by the courts through the DJ actions that are known as builders remedy lawsuits. So this is a big relief to every municipality that can achieve that, and we have.
And the other thing that folks don't remember is many years ago, Bedminster established the R10 zone.
Yes.
Minimum lot size of 10 acres as a way to preserve open space and to prevent subdivision sprawl. That was challenged. The Honorable Robert Gutierrez, late Honorable Robert Gutierrez, upheld that in Somerville. It was a challenge brought by Kirby. It is a reported appellate division case, meaning anyone can go to the books and look up that case as a seminal case on preserving large acre zoning, and it was upheld by the appellate division. So there's not a lot of towns around here that have minimum 10 lot acre zoning, and that took a lot of your land out of the subdivision development process. So kudos to whether that's, I think that was over 30 years ago.
Yes. Yep. And the Kirby property actually has a site plan approval for 10, 11, 12 acre parcels. That was approved years ago.
Yes.
They've not done anything with it. I think there's been some discussion about filing the plat, but that has not yet been perfected. All right. Thank you, John. Any questions for John? Old business. Colin, utilities. Not you as old.
Yes, yeah. That's what it sounded like. Just a quick update on New Jersey American Water. I've been working with Miss Ray and her team to try and resolve a nagging problem with New Jersey American Water. There are cases where an association pays the water bill, but the homeowner pays the sewer bill. And there was a problem disconnecting service when someone moves. Long story short, the township has been fielding phone calls from homeowners who have been instructed to call Bedminster Water by the New Jersey American Water Call Center. Jason, you didn't know you ran waterworks in addition to everything else you do. So as a result, the customers are incurring charges after they move because New Jersey American Water won't process disconnects. The problem is further exacerbated when it is an affordable housing unit because the homeowner, as you know, is one step removed from the real estate transaction, which is being handled in those cases by CGP&H. We've all been playing a bit of better get the Caro to help out these residents, but at the end of the day, this is a New Jersey American Water problem with their billing system and their customer care representatives, and we are going to work to get them to address that and drive this to resolution. So just want to give you an update on that one.
Okay. Also on the New Jersey American Water, Robin, have we scheduled a meeting with New Jersey American Water on sewer allocation? Is that with me?
That's the following week.
Okay.
Next week. is
So that's
next
fine. And that we do
Tuesday.
have the representatives from
Yes, and Peter
NJW there.
Black, our sewer engineer, and several others will
Okay.
be in attendance.
And that meeting is
Yes.
for, we've got EDC, the old EDC now owned by New Jersey American Water, processes the sewer for treatment for Bedminster, including the hills, Bedminster Village, the section that's connected to sewer, the section of Far Hills that's connected to sewer, and the sections of Peapack Gladstone that are connected to sewer. As we look at future development, including the KRE project down in Pluckman, perhaps eventually the Alfieri project right next to the Bridgewater Manor, whatever is going to happen with AT&T. We really want to get a sense of what is the sewer capacity for treatment here, knowing that there are projects, just as John mentioned, some of the other towns that didn't fare as well as Bedminster did in the fourth round settlements. They will be accommodating relatively large residential projects, including in Peapack Gladstone, which will be sending their wastewater through the sewer that comes down into Bedminster to our pump station and over to EDC. So we're trying to get a sense of total capacity, total conveyance, and identify any bottlenecks that may be in the way, and the ability of the New Jersey American Water Treatment Facility to handle all of that. So stay tuned for updates as we have that meeting. And Somerset Hills Public Safety Committee, we're supposed to have a call. I think, when's our next call?
Third Thursday.
Thursday.
Third Thursday. And
Third Thursday. Okay, so that will,
we have some time.
we probably won't report back on this until June then.
Correct.
Right. Okay. We'll go through Township Committee comments. We do have an executive session. We will not be taking any formal action after our executive session. So we're going to run through Township Committee comments, adjourn to executive session, and then we will return to public session merely to adjourn for the evening. You're all welcome to stick around to see us say goodnight, but you don't have to. And once again, we will not be taking formal action when we return.
Good night.
Thank you. Nice meeting you.
Sorry to welcome Bedminster.
You were not going to do your committee comments, or are you done with your committee?
Oh, yeah, we will go through. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. We will go through committee comments. Thank you, Julia. Committeeman Rosen.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to echo your sentiments with the cooperation from Derek, Robin, and the department heads during the budget sessions. They were my first sessions, and their cooperation, their collaborations, the give and take back and forth, the creativeness really made for a fascinating process and made our lives much easier. And also, it's International Firefighters Day. I want to give a shout out to the crew at House 29 for their hard work and dedication they provide on a 24/7 basis.
Thank you, Bill. Committeewoman Fernandez.
Great. Thank you, Mayor. I mean, I echo the sentiments. The budget sessions are always, like childbirth. You forget how it is until the next year. Right. So thank you so much for everyone for all their, collaboration and cooperation. And just, very excited about all of the things happening in town. And thank you, John, for handling all the affordable housing stuff. That's amazing. So that's all. Have a good night.
Committeewoman Mareski.
Just want to echo those guys' sentiments. Thank you to everybody who works in Bedminster for all the work you guys did on the budget. It does make our lives so much easier. And thank you guys for all the work you did on the community garden. That is an amazing place. Hope everybody gets to visit. And now I'm looking forward to Farmers Market. And that's all I got. Have a good night. I know.
And a meeting tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Committeeman Hickey.
Thank you, Mayor. It's tough to top the childbirth comment, so.
I ain't touching that one.
We'll take your word for
Yeah,
it.
exactly. But no, many thanks again, as everybody's mentioned, to Derek and our auditor and Robin. As I always say, you make the trains run on time here in Bedminster. It all comes back to you. So thank you for keeping us on task and on target. It really is important. Also want to thank you, the mayor, and John. John, you mentioned it was a 2-year process for affordable housing, but it felt like we were running a 2-minute offense all the time with the deadlines that were set up in the interim for all those things. So it's an amazing job keeping that process. So thank you. And we were talking about the school before. I just want to mention another great job by Bedminster School regarding a new program they've instituted. They borrowed a page from Google, which encourages employees to dedicate part of their paid time to their passion projects. And Bedminster School is doing the same. We heard presentations from 2 4th graders, one on chess and one on baking. I mentioned to Ms. G afterwards that my 4th grade self could not have done what those kids did. Get up there in front of a big audience and present. But it's important to develop communication and presentation skills early in life. I know we've all worked with people who were super smart, but they couldn't express an idea or present to an audience. So great job by the school getting these kids ready, not just academically, but socially and professionally as well. And that's all I've got.
So 4th grade Colin did not have Excel, but you probably had some type of spreadsheet.
I probably did,
Yeah.
yes. But the thought of getting up in front of a crowd and trying to talk about this stuff, no way. These kids do amazing work.
Thank you. And I have no further comments at 8:20 to take a motion to adjourn to executive session.
So moved.
All in favor?
Bye.
Good night, Julia.